Hi, happy Thursday, happy Bookoplathon week 2. I'm 2 days late in starting filming for this because, we're just staying on brand. I have finished a book though, but it's not on my Bookoplathon TBR. I finished Restless Slumber by KJ Sutton, which is the second book in the Fortuna's Sworn series. Well, let me turn my fan off. Woo. Yeah, I gave it 4 stars. I'm a little concerned with the ending. I messaged Becca about it. I'm curious to see what she has to say because it did something that really pisses me off in certain books. It's a trope that's used that I'm really not a fan of. And while I probably will still continue in the series because I'm curious to see what happens, this has kind of put a bad taste in my mouth, and I don't think the author was, it's like I know what she's trying to do. It's frustrating. So, okay, I'm going to spoil the ending of Restless Slumber right now. So, come back after Restless Slumber. I'm going to have a picture up next to my face in editing. So once that is gone, you can come back if you don't want to hear the ending. If not, I'm going to spoil it because I have to kind of talk about this because it's driving me nuts. Okay. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens in Restless Slumber, and Fortuna being a nightmare, she's starting to develop her power, and her power is getting stronger. So as her power is getting stronger, she's having a harder time controlling it. And there's something that happens where there's this witch, and this witch is a necromancer and had sold them out to the werewolves, and she had sent these zombies. She's a necromancer, had sent these zombies to attack their house, and she had to burn down her house with these zombies inside it in order to kill them. And so she's really upset. So she's going to her and torturing her by using her nightmare powers and getting inside her head and making her feel her worst fears. And she can do it to where she can just make the person really freaked out, or she can do it to where she breaks their mind and kills them. And that's what she intends to do. So her love interest, husband, mate, Colith, steps in front of her and is like, no, you can't do this. So she tries to make her power go around him to the witch, and he steps in front of her at the wrong time, whatever, and her power focuses on him, and she shoves all that power at him and kills him. And I mean, this is book 2 of a 6-book series. Colith isn't supposed to die. He's the main love interest. What would be the fucking point? And this isn't at the very end. There's still like another 20 to 40 pages left. So it's like, okay, well, something has to happen then to make it so, he comes back. And it's kind of funny. I almost feel like she took inspiration from Supernatural because she goes to a crossroads demon to ask for him or it to bring Colith back. So throughout the first 2 books, Fortuna is a virgin. She has never had sex with anybody because, when she touches you, she can feel your greatest fears. So, touching someone, and if you're getting intimate and she had no way to control it, where all their fears are in her mind, she's like, I've done other things, like, so she hasn't actually had full intercourse, but she's done other stuff like oral and all that kind of stuff, to where she's like, it's hard for me to enjoy the act of what's happening, even if I like the person, because all I can hear is their fears. So she's still a virgin. Okay, so when she goes to the crossroads and goes, I want, Colith to be brought back, because I love him, blah, 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 you would expect, I expected, and so did Fortuna. Fortuna expected the crossroads demon to, to ask for her soul. No, he wants her virginity because that is more important to her than her soul. So he says that you have to give me your virginity in order for me to bring Colith back. I fucking hated that because it's essentially a rape. When she finally consents to it, because she knows it's the only way to get him back. So there is a tiny bit of consent to where, she knows she has to do this, but it's literally rape. Like, he shoves her against a tree. Everything is very forceful. It's described in not minute detail, but not in super graphic detail. It's described enough to where if you're triggered by rape, you probably would be triggered by it, I would assume. I don't like that, because it's like, okay, you did this to create conflict. So now in book 3 and continuing on, you have now created conflict to where she's going to be completely traumatized. She's going to suffer from PTSD. The demon took on a form of another character who's a minor character. He's like a sheriff or a cop that is absolutely skeezy and gross and has always had the hots for Fortuna. So that added to the trauma of the rape. So you're intentionally creating drama and strife by using sexual assault. It really rubs me the wrong way. It's, to me, it like cheapens it. Like that was a cheap shot. Like the whole point was that, and what I was excited for is with her virginity and stuff, like Coleth knows she's a virgin. He hasn't, they've done a lot of other things but never had sex. He wants her to be ready. He wants her to admit that she's actually falling in love with him. So it's like a very much take it slow in a very sweet way their relationship has progressed. And then you're pretty much throwing that out the window so that she can bring him back to life by raping her, which is going to cause extreme trauma and PTSD. Every time she sees that minor character, it's going to cause panic, which it even says that in the synopsis for book 3, that every time she sees this minor character, she has panic attacks and is reminded of the assault. It's going to cause resentment towards Coleth because, of course, he's going to get brought back to life. I mean, literally the last sentence says eyes open. So he's going to get brought back to life, and she's going to hold resentment against him because every time he tries to touch her, get close to her, she's going to be reminded that she had to be raped in order for him to get back. To me, it's just cheap. It's a cheap way to extend the drama, create more trauma for Fortuna in order to extend the story. It just pisses me off. The exact same thing could have been accomplished without sexual assault if they would have just killed her brother. A life for a life. First of all, I hate Damon. I think he's a stupid ass fucking character. He makes stupid ass decisions. Granted, he does have some trauma of his own, but I'm just not a fan of him. He's really underdeveloped, I think, and I think that's part of the problem, why I don't connect with him and why I don't like him. I do, Fortuna and Coleth are the most developed characters because they're the two main, so I understand that, but Damon is very underdeveloped. Shit, even Finn the werewolf has more development than Damon. I'm not a fan of Damon, but he is one of the most important people to Fortuna. Those two are the only two living nightmares. So the demon could have easily killed Damon and given her Coleth back. A life for a life. Somebody she cares about for somebody she cares about. To me, that would cause the same amount of drama and the same amount of trauma and turmoil and resentment that obviously the author wants to be in the following books. There's enough of that with killing Damon that she didn't need to be sexually assaulted. I don't know. I just feel like it cheapens it. It really pissed me off when I started reading that. I'm like, are you fucking serious? I'm like, really? And I almost messaged Becca then, but my time, it was like almost midnight. So it would have been like 8 a.m. her time. She wouldn't have been awake. So I did send her a message this morning. I was like, okay, well, the ending was pretty traumatic, like they said. It didn't hit me in the feels as much as I think it did everybody else, because I knew they were going to bring Coleth back. Like, you're not going to kill off the main love interest in the second book of a 6-book series. You're just not. So I knew he was coming back, but it was like, so this is how you're going to bring him back. You're going to make her a virgin who's been holding it back on purpose, like, for a reason, and her reason is legit, and it's not weird or uncomfortable, and I liked her reasoning for it. You're going to strip that from her, and it's super traumatic experience just to bring Coleth back and then have that be like an undercurrent for the rest of the series. It just rubbed me the wrong way. No, I don't like that choice. I probably will continue on with the series because I want to know what happened, and I do like the world, and I do like a couple of the other characters, but man, that ending just really irritated me. I might actually lower my rating from a 4-star to a 3-star because of it. Because the more I've sat on it, I finished it last night, and the more I sit on it, the more pissed off it's making me. So I may do that. And see, and what's hard is I don't mind problematic shit in books. I love problematic shit in books. As long as you can recognize and point out the problematic shit, like, I don't care, like what you fucking like. I mean, that doesn't bother me at all. I know there's tons of smut and, romance out there that's got some really questionable, things in it. And I know there's some with incest and all sorts of, taboo stuff. As long as you can recognize that it's problematic, I don't care. Read whatever the fuck you want. And like with this, to me, I think it's problematic. And I'm clearly pointing it out. This is problematic, and this is a plot device that I do not like at all. But I will probably continue to read it because I do like the other story elements. I like the different characters. I like the setting. I like the relationships between some of the characters and conflict and stuff like that. I mean, I do enjoy things about it, but man, this pissed me the fuck off. But anyways, moving on from that, I did buy, which I don't know why I did this. I bought Girl Serpent Thorn on Kindle because I need something to read on Kindle, and I want to be reading my Bookoplathon books because right now I haven't finished a one. So I need to actually read one of them, at least a couple of them, because I'm epically failing at this readathon. And I think a part of it is, like I mentioned in my last vlog, like the stuff going on in my life. And when that happens, the only way I'm going to get any reading done is if I mood read. And I really none of the books in my TBR are calling to me. There's 3 young adult fantasy books, which is stuff that I don't usually touch all that often. It's like once in a while, like I insert one here or there. So I'm going to pick up Girl Serpent Thorn. It's just over 300 pages. I'm going to read it on my Kindle, so that'll be my night book. So, you know, I got it through Book of the Month, paid $9.99 for it there, and I paid $9.99 for the fucking Kindle edition. Whatever. It's just money, right? Doesn't matter. It's fine. And I don't know what I'm going to read physically. I am still reading Golden Sun, but if I'm being honest, I'm kind of losing interest in it. And I don't know if it's the series itself, if it's the story. It's not because it's sci-fi, because Cindy and I read Leviathan Wakes, which we need to read Caliban's War. We need to continue with that series. And that is a space opera. And I love that one. I looked forward to, you know, reading it every single day. I couldn't wait to read it. So I know it's not that. I don't know if it's because it's so deeply political and with all the different things going on, which usually I love that. I love that in fantasy series. I don't know what it is that's making me not want to read it. Like, I just have no desire to pick it up. Like, I haven't picked it up in 5 days at least. Like, I can't remember the last day I picked it up. It's been since like Friday or Saturday of last week, which has been almost a week. Like, and I just have no desire to pick it up. So I'm trying to get comfortable. My arm's hurting. So I don't know. I don't know if I need to talk to Cindy. I know Cindy and I have both been busy with work. Like last week was really busy for me, and I know it was for her too. So I just need to talk to her and see where she's at. I mean, it may take us all month to read. We just read a little bit at a time, but right now I have no desire to pick it up. So I need to have a physical book going. I mean, I guess I could just keep reading Air Fire. I mean, why not? I mean, I want to, but I also am not feeling that one. You know what book I really want to read? I really want to read my Star Wars book, which has nothing to do with any of my Bookoplathon prompts. And it would just be another book. Like, I'm totally going way off track, which, you know, this shows why, like, my chaos, like, I would probably, I'm sure this drives Becca nuts, because Becca's very much routine. This is what I have set. I'm following it and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people like that. Murphy used to be that way. Now she's kind of a mood reader. I'm not. I'm like, here's my TBR. This is what I'm going to read. And then I might read 2 off of it. And then the rest is just absolute chaos. And I change my mind every 5 seconds. So, and usually, and everything else in my everyday life, I am not like this at all. I'm very routine. Like, okay, if we have to be here at this time, we're leaving by this time. Like, everything is very set out. My job is very much like that. It's very routine. It's very black and white. And then my reading life is absolute chaos. So here we are. But I haven't even hauled any of these books yet, but it was like, what, not almost a month ago. It was in August. Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand did a haul where she hauled Jurassic Park and the Lost World in a Barnes & Noble special edition bind up, and it was gorgeous, and I had to have it, and I ended up buying like 5 special edition books, and I didn't need any of them. And I think what some of them I've read, like I need to do a haul so that I can show you guys properly. But I got one that's Interview with the Vampire. So it's got the first 3 books in the Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice in this beautiful bind-up edition. I've read them all, but the bind-up edition is so gorgeous. And so I had to have it. I got the Jurassic Park one, which I haven't read Lost World, and I've only read like half of the actual Jurassic Park book, which is, you know what? I need to actually fucking sit down and read that. I need to actually read it because I know the books are a little bit different, and I just should read it because I like Michael Crichton, so I should just read it. But anyways, I got that one, and I bought 2 Star Wars ones, and they're absolutely gorgeous. There's one that's the Han Solo books. That's the 3 books in the Han Solo trilogy that's canon, that takes place before the Star Wars movies. And it's in a beautiful bind up. It's like blue and black. It's leather bound, and it's got the Millennium Falcon on it, and it's gorgeous. And I've never read those. The other one is a bind up where I had oh my God, as I'm filming this, Cindy just messaged me asking me about Golden Sun, of course. But it's a beautiful bind up, and it's the original Star Wars trilogy, A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, which are my favorite. I do not like episodes 1, 2, and 3. I think they are absolute garbage trash. The 3 new ones that came out with, like, what's her name? Not, it starts with an R. Why can't I think of it? It's not Rin, but it's, yeah, Rey. There it is. With her and all that shit. I know the ending and I know where her bloodlines are. Like, I had somebody spoil it for me because I have no real desire to watch them. From what I understand, the first movie in that trilogy is pretty much exactly like A New Hope, only you just switch out the characters for other ones. I have no desire to watch A New Hope redo, you know, like, no. I no. And then I just never watched the other 2. I know Kylo Ren is really popular and all that shit. I just had no real desire to watch it. Like, I grew up on the original trilogy, and I am an unpopular opinion to where Return of the Jedi is my favorite of the 3. Most people who are hardcore Star Wars stans usually pick Empire Strikes Back because that's where a lot of the political stuff happens and a lot of the moving parts. Like, that's where the big reveal happens. And when I think it's because when I was a child, The Empire Strikes Back was boring to me, and it would be boring for a kid. There's not much action. It's a lot of, you know, like I said, political maneuverings. It's a plot. A lot of stuff is the plot moving forward and shit like that. Whereas Empire Strikes Back is like 80% action. You've got all the stuff at Jabba's palace on Tatooine. You have the pit of Sarlacc. You have, you know, the huge fight between Vader and Luke, plus, you know, with the Emperor there and stuff like that, and then the big fight out in space at the same time. Like, there's just so much going on, and the battle on Endor with the Ewoks, and you've got all of that shit going on. And I think that's why I loved it as a kid, because it was fun, and I loved the Ewoks too. When I was a kid, I watched the Ewoks movies that I can't remember what they're considered canon, and I don't remember where they take place in the scheme of like the movies. I don't remember if it might be between Empire and Jedi. I don't remember, but it's, maybe it's after. No, it can't be. But I remember it has like the little girl with the blonde curls named Sindel, and Wicket is the name of the Ewok. And they do, I love it. I absolutely loved it. I would assume it had to take place before Return of the Jedi because of everything that happened in them. Anyways. Or maybe not. Maybe it's after. Why am I even talking about this? Doesn't fucking matter. But yeah, I bought a bind up, and it's leather bound, and it's the 3 original movies in book form. The first one, I think not Empire Strikes Back, A New Hope is written by George Lucas. So I know it's not like the script, but it's pretty much the movies in book form. Do I need to read them? No, I've seen the movies 50 goddamn million times. Like, I know what happens. Do I want to read them in book form? Yes, I do. And I don't. It's fucking stupid. I don't know why. But I got the Vader cover, so there's 2 different versions of the cover. There's an all-white one with Princess Leia on the front, and I can't remember what it has on the back of hers. Is it the Death Star, maybe? But it has, like, C-3PO and R2-D2 on the spine. The one I got is all black, and it's got Vader on the front, and on the spine it's got the Rebel symbol and the Imperial symbol, and on the back it's got R2 and C-3PO. So they are gorgeous fucking books. And I believe they have gilded edges. I can't remember. They're on my shelf in the living room. But anyways, that's the one that I really want to read, which is fucking stupid. Because if I really wanted a Star Wars fix, I could just watch the movies. Maybe I'll do that. Oh my God, I'm fucking everywhere. Like, this is retarded. This is so stupid. I am so sorry. I am absolutely everywhere. I'm like babbling about Star Wars, which has nothing to fucking do with anything. I should be reading. Today's my day off. Today's my Saturday. I can stay up as late as I fucking want. I can do whatever I want. I've got nothing going on today. So I should just fucking read. But what I'm probably going to end up doing is I'm going to catch up on BookTube and then probably end up binge watching the fucking Star Wars movies and then doing absolutely nothing that is relevant with this readathon because, why would I do that? Why would I fucking read? The whole point of the readathon is to pressure me to read more, and usually it works, and here I am, just being a fucking idiot. Well, I wouldn't be me if I wasn't completely chaotic, so here we are. Also, I want to mention I hit 800 subscribers, so thank you so much, guys. I've been doing this for 2 years now, and I never even expected to get this many subs, honestly. I know there's people who, grow really fast and get really big and all that stuff, and I never thought I'd get to 500 subscribers. I'm not one of those booktubers who, I don't want to say I don't put effort into my videos and my content because I do, but I'm older. Like, I don't have I don't have a fancy camera. I literally use my phone to film. I have a small little ring light, which I didn't get until, what, 6-7 months ago. Over a year into doing my channel did I finally get decent lighting. Yeah, I don't do anything fancy. I'm not the best editor. There's other things I could probably do where I can't really figure out like the editing because I'm just not that great at it. I'm good enough to edit simple videos, but it's really hard for me to do any of the cool stuff that I see other people do. I'm just not the best at all that stuff. And, sometimes I just don't have, great ideas like some of the other booktubers do. So I never really expected to grow and get super huge because I'm not super interesting. I'm not any more interesting than anybody else. And I'm not doing anything super new or fun where there's tons of other booktubers who are doing super cool things. But I just want to thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. I love talking to you guys. I love, interacting in the comments and stuff like that. That's the stuff that I live for. And that's why I made my channel, is to be able to interact and meet new people. I've made friends with other booktubers that have been super great. Of course, a lot of them live across the pond. So, we'll never end up meeting in real life, but I love talking to everybody. It's fun. This is the whole reason why I made my channel, is to meet other people who read. And I really appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you for your support. I really love having you guys here. I'm sorry I'm so chaotic and I don't read as much as everybody else. Anyways, that's it. I'm going to go do something with my life and hopefully read. I will check in with you guys later. Hey guys, it's Friday now. I haven't really done much reading. I'm getting set to read right now. Yesterday I checked in and told you that I finished Restless Slumber. So last night I started reading Pestilence by Laura Thalassa. This was something that I wanted to read. Since I finished the Bargainer series by her, I wanted to read the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse series. There's 2 books out. Pestilence and War is out. Famine is coming out, I think, in October or December. And then Death will be out sometime next year. Becca just put this on her romance book she wants to read, but she's nervous about it, and she heard that I had it on my TBR, so she said she'd wait to hear what I thought about it, so I decided I would just read it now. I'd already kind of planned to anyways, and it's only 300 and something pages, so it should be quick to get through. I am, let's see, 79, almost 80 pages into it, and I'm enjoying it so far. It's fast moving. It's very different than the Bargainer series. It's very much post-apocalyptic. I mean, the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, of course it's post-apocalyptic. So it takes place 5 years after the Horsemen were seen, and this book deals just with Pestilence. And so there's a main character named Sarah, who is a firefighter, and she draws matches with her 3 other firefighters that were left behind in their town that have since evacuated, and to see who stays behind to try to kill him. She tries to kill him. It doesn't work. He's one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. He's unkillable. And so he takes her as his prisoner. So there are definite trigger warnings for this book. The major one so far that I've seen in the first 80 pages is torture, but not in torture porn kind of way. It's still, it's not graphic. Like, how do you describe it? There's some violence. She tries to kill him. She shoots him with buckshot shotgun and then lights him on fire. And it's described. So there's that. That violence of her trying to kill him is very much described. And she struggled with the act of actually trying to kill him, but knew it needed to be done, or she was trying to do it. And it doesn't bother me. Like, I don't mind body horror. I don't mind graphic violence if there's a point. This guy is making everybody die, and they call it the Messianic Plague. So it almost like is the word Messiah, only changed. And you get like these boils all over you, and you pretty much are rotting from the inside out. And so, they're just kind of riding through. This takes place in British Columbia, Canada. So in the prologue, it said they all split up when the horsemen first came. Pestilence went north, war went east, famine went south, and death went west. And so each one takes place. I saw that war takes place in like Jerusalem, and the main female character is half Muslim and half something else. I can't remember. And then famine, I think, takes place somewhere in South America, somewhere in the South. In the southern countries and stuff like that. So I like that it's been moved around. This one is in BC. And it seems like that they're trying to move towards the water. But there is some torture, like I said, like when he first takes her prisoner after she tries to kill him, he ties her hands together and ties the rope to the back of the saddle, and he takes off on his horse, and she's made to run behind him. And if she doesn't run and she falls, then she's dragged. And that's described. That is no longer happening. That only happened for a little bit. So that's no longer happening. Pestilence has no other name. He doesn't like humans. He just calls her human. Like, she just now gave him her name, and he just seems to not care. So, I mean, he's not a god, but not a demon. Like, kind of like that, where an otherworldly creature that doesn't really see humans as anything. Not quite sure if Becca's going to like this yet. I know this is very much an enemies to lovers romance, obviously. And from what I understand from the trigger warnings that I've seen online for this one and the other ones, also kind of a Stockholm Syndrome romance, because, you know, she's been taken prisoner by this guy. He's treating her horrible. I mean, he is kind of like a demigod or whatever. Like, he's not human. And so... And he's, of course, completely gorgeous and beautiful, and it is described in extreme detail about how gorgeous he is. So far, I'm enjoying it. It's not bad. Like, I can handle that kind of stuff. But the only problem is this book is not on my Bookopoly TBR or my Bookoplathon TBR. I could try to look and see if there's a way to switch it out, but I don't think there is. It's not POC rep. Both of these people are white. It's not young adult. It's not set in the past. It's set in the future. And what's the other one for? I don't even remember what the other one's for. Oh, it's not a sequel. And I don't even know what the other prompt is. But if I can switch it out, I will. But at this point, I'm kind of just letting myself read when I want to read. There's just too much stuff going on. Hopefully I'll get at least one of the Bookoplathon books read. I mean, I'm trying to participate. This seemed interesting to read, and it's on my Kindle. I already had it. It's on Kindle Unlimited. All of Laura Thalas's books are on Kindle Unlimited, so they're free for me. So why not? It's only it's 374 pages. Either way, her books read so fucking fast that it shouldn't be hard. Like, I read the first 77 pages last night, laying in bed. So this, if it's only 3 o'clock, so I should be able to get through a good chunk of this. It's really, really smoky outside right now. There's a lot of wildfires. I live in Washington, and we don't have as many wildfires here. There's a couple in eastern Washington. I'm on the western side of the mountains by the water. So there was a whole bunch of smoke when it was windy the other day, and it blew the smoke over here. So it was very, very low air quality, and it was very, very smoky. But the smoke that's outside right now is all from California and Oregon. So California and Oregon have a lot of wildfires right now. And the way the wind shifted, smoke was all out in the water in the Pacific Ocean, and the way the winds were, it blew it all back up onto us. So the air quality today is way worse than it was a couple of days ago. It is pretty thick smoke outside. Like, the visibility is not very good, and so there's no reason to go outside. So can't go anywhere, can't do anything, can't really do anything anyways. So with it being my Sunday today, I'm just going to lay here, and I'm going to put on some thunderstorm ASMR, which is my absolute favorite. Like, thunderstorms are so calming to me, like loud rain and thunderstorms. Like, that's why fall is my favorite season. We don't get thunderstorms here, but we do, very rarely do we get thunderstorms. Usually it's in the summertime, and it's got to be like the perfect conditions. And usually it's like 2 thunderclaps and then it's gone. We usually don't get very much. I think it was last year, the year before, we got a really gnarly thunderstorm that lasted 2 hours, which it was breathtakingly amazing and absolutely loved it. But we usually don't get that here. So we do get rain and wind. So I like putting that kind of ASMR on and just listening to rain and thunderstorms. It's calming. It puts me in a good reading mood, and I just lay back, relax, and read, and that's what I'm going to try to do. I've been really slacking on my reading lately. I've only finished the one book so far in September, and we're already 11 days in, so I'm going to go read this, even though it is not on my TBR, or it's not on my Bookoplathon TBR. But hey, books being read are books being read, right? So it doesn't really matter. Even though this vlog is supposed to be for Bookoplathon, and I'm not actually reading anything for my Bookoplathon vlog because I still haven't picked up Golden Sun yet. I still don't have any desire to read it. And yesterday, I did what I said I was going to do. I didn't read Star Wars, but I ended up binging the entire first 3 movies. Well, 4, 5, and 6, the original trilogy. Yeah, totally binge watched those. No shame. But yeah, I'm going to lay back and read, and that's my update for today. I don't know if I'll update later. We'll see how it goes. But I'm going to try to get as much of this read as possible. It'd be great if I could finish it, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen because I might get a little tired. But we'll see. I have to work tomorrow, so, but I do really want to get as much read of this as possible. And I think I've said that like 6 times now, so I'm just gonna fucking go. Hi guys, happy Saturday. So, sorry about the lighting. It is literally yellow outside. We've got a lot of smoke. I think I mentioned that yesterday. I live in Washington State. Oregon and California are on fire. So we've been in a smoke fog for 2 days. We had a little bit of smoke before and then it all cleared up and it seemed to be okay because there was a wind that had blown through, but now it is all shifted. Now it's back and it's worse. Like it looks like Stephen King's The Mist out there. Like it's bad. It's like yellow. Like you can see outside. It's like completely yellow. It's bad. It's just really bad. The air quality is shit. You can't, I mean, I just went outside I went to work. I went to work this morning and then back. And my car has like a layer of ash on it, even though the fires are literally hundreds of miles away. It's bad. So yeah, that's why the lighting looks like this. It is only, 3:30 in the afternoon and it looks outside like it's almost dark. It's bad. So I am reading wise. Right now I'm watching book 2 because why wouldn't I? The only thing I read today was I finished, okay. Oh, yeah, I told you I started Pestilence yesterday. So yesterday I said I was going to read Pestilence and I did. So I had read the first 77 pages on Thursday night before I went to bed. Yesterday was my Sunday. So I spent pretty much all day after I filmed that clip reading. I put on some Thunderstorm ASMR and read. And I read almost 200, or no, I did read over 200 pages. Because by the time I stopped reading, I think I only had about 50 pages left, maybe 60 pages left. So, and then I had to go to sleep because I had to work this morning, very early. So went to work, and then on my breaks and in between when there was nothing going on, I didn't have anything to do, I finished it. So I finished Pestilence by Laura Thalassa. I ended up giving it like 3.5, 4 stars. Again, not on my Bookoplathon TBR, but still the second book finished this month, and I liked it. Now, is everybody gonna like it? No. It's like a post-apocalyptic romance. When the story starts where 5 years, there's a prologue, and then we're 5 years into when the horsemen have come to Earth. So originally when the apocalypse starts, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse come to Earth, then they kind of disappear. And from what I understand, there's 4 books in this series, Pestilence, then War, then Famine, then Death. So this is, Pestilence is the first horseman, and then the next one is War. Famine is coming out the end of this year in the next month or so, and then I believe Death comes out next year. So, I mean, they start out and then everybody disappears, but then Pestilence comes back. And so we follow our main character, Sarah, who's a firefighter who lives in Whistler, British Columbia, Canada. And so, which is north of me. So Pestilence went to the north. So he spent, from what they said, started in Miami and then he went up the east coast of the United States, then up into eastern Canada, then came across Canada into western Canada, then back down. And that's kind of like the trajectory. So when we meet Sarah, our main character, she's a firefighter. She draws matchsticks to see who's going to stay behind and all that. And because the horseman's coming, and all he has to do is ride through the town. If he's in the vicinity, you're going to get his plague. And it takes like 3 or 4 days to kill you. So she draws the bad match. So she has to stay behind. She tries to kill him, finds out he is unkillable because he is a heavenly thing or a godly being. And so instead of killing her, he decides to take her prisoner, and the story goes from there. So there are some trigger warnings, and I think I mentioned this before in the other clip. There's trigger warnings for mild torture. I think a lot of people had a problem with that reading some of the reviews because there is that mild torture, and then it's not for very long, and then as the story progresses, of course, they end up falling in love and blah, blah, blah. It's a fucking post-apocalyptic fantasy romance. I mean, what did you expect? It's hard because it's one of those, you hear those romance. I know most people who watch my channel don't really read anything romance related. And usually I don't either. And I don't know who the hell I fucking am. Because usually I'm not a big fan of romances. But I guess I'm in a fucking mood. Becca started it with the face mutt. And now we're just continuing. But honestly, it's the fluff book candy that I've kind of needed to where I can zone out. I don't have to think about anything. You don't have to think to read these books. These books, there's nothing in them that's going to make you think, or, you know, any kind of in a deep way, to where, you know, you don't really have to analyze. It's like, it was just a fluffy romance that was slightly problematic. I mean, that's pretty much where we're at. And I can recognize that it's problematic. I mean, he's a harbinger of the apocalypse. He's literally one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, which is foretold in the Bible. What's really interesting, because I'm not a religious person, and what's really interesting is there is some religious talk in the book, but it's very, very mild. There's one scene where Sarah and Pestilence end up at this elderly couple's house, and Sarah's upset because she knows they're going to die. And this couple is very nice, and they kind of welcome it, and they stayed behind. They didn't evacuate knowing that they could very well die. And they just talk to Pestilence, and they end up asking him all these questions like, well, so you're confirming there is a God? And he's like, well, God's not a he, it's an it, pretty much. It's just it's not a sentient being, like the way he kind of described it. Like, and they asked, well, you know, so we're right being Christian. He goes, well, yes and no. He goes, every single religion there is on earth are both they're all very, very wrong, but also very right, where he pretty much says morality is the big thing, not whether or not you have faith. It's about morality and being moral. And that's why he's there, is because humanity is such shit that he needs to come and wipe it out. And I think that's why I didn't think that it was all that bad. I mean, there is some problematic, like with the trauma and the fact that he's literally one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and she's falling in love with him. He's literally unkillable. He doesn't age. He, of course, looks like an angel, literally. Like, he's very, like, bodice ripping romance cover looking guys, like really tall, very thick and muscular, ripped abs, beautiful flowing blonde hair, and piercing blue eyes. Like, it's like, okay, like, where it's over the top. Whereas other fantasy romance books I've read, the guys look nice, but they're not like Fabio looking, if that makes sense. And Pestilence kind of is Fabio looking in a way. And the way Sarah's described is she's just an average girl. It's not like she's stunningly beautiful or anything. She's just an average woman, like 21-year-old. She's just pretty average, not super skinny, not super chunky. She's just average. So why I liked it is because, yeah, there is some problematic elements where you go, okay, is she turning against humanity by falling in love with him and caring about what happens to him? You know, is that turning her back on humanity? But it's pretty much her presence and the way he ends up reacting to her shows this being who hates humans and doesn't understand anything about them. He just knows that his purpose is there to spread the plague. And he makes that very clear, that he's pretty much an it himself, and that the body he's in was just the body he was given to be in this world. Like, the body isn't actually his. Like, pretty much, like, I don't know if he's like a spiritual being where, you know, the form he's in isn't actually his form. And so he doesn't have any humanity and takes everything very literally. And she kind of teaches him that not all humans are bad, that, you know, with her being a first responder, she's very compassionate of everybody they come across that gets the plague and ends up dying. Like, she's very compassionate. So he starts to see that not all humans are evil and terrible. And so I can see where the point in it was, and I like the concept. I mean, it's post-apocalyptic, yes, but it's like a cross between, like, we're not quite to Walking Dead status, but we're not normal either. We're like somewhere in between. We're like, the apocalypse has started, yes. Electricity, some people have it, some people don't. Cars have stopped working. Like, when the 4 horsemen showed up, all electronics stopped working. The internet disappeared. Cars kind of started having issues. So we're kind of going more primitive, where stuff is kind of going back that way, like using lanterns and stuff like that for electricity, wood stoves for heat, that kind of thing, which is fine. We can survive that way. But it's like, you know, but we're not super bad where, you know, there's no zombies, and, you know, people aren't like, there's only like 10 people left in the world, though that's the point. I think that's where we're progressing. Because by the end of the book, of course, like, mild spoiler, Pestilence stopped spreading the plague because he's fallen in love and now his purpose is done. And the very, like, last little bit of the book is like, you know, we fast forward another 5 years. Now we're 10 years into the apocalypse, and everything's not normal because it'll never be normal again, but nothing bad is happening. So everybody's just kind of getting used to their new normal. And then he feels his brother War wake up, and then that kind of, you know, starts to book 2. Now, do I think Becca will like it? I sent her I told her that I rated it like 3.5, 4 stars, and she's like, okay, not bad. And I said, do you want my reasonings why? And she was like, yeah, sure. You know, kind of like, she's like, okay, then. And so I gave her a long list. But then, you know, of course, in the UK, it's like almost 2 a.m. So she's probably already fallen asleep. But even still, then, you know, we'll see if she reads it. I think she'll like it because it's fucked up enough with the concept and the setting and the problematic elements where they're not super problematic to where I think it'll really bother her. I think she'll like it. And it's Laura Thalassa, and this is like some of her newer books. And I loved her writing. It was very easy to read, compulsively readable. I mean, I read over 200 pages yesterday. I couldn't put it down. So, I mean, with something like that, like, it was very easy to read, and I wanted to keep reading. I was very engaged. Whether it be problematic or not, I can recognize those problematic elements, but still enjoy it. Like, I still had fun reading it. So, and, you know, reading ratings, I mean, I do read critically, but at the same time, my enjoyment means something for my rating, like if I enjoy it or not. I mean, there's people who love, you know, great literary works, but I can't stand it because I didn't enjoy it. But, you know, that's my reading. I'm currently not reading anything. I do have Girl, Serpent, Thorn, which is actually on my Bookoplathon TBR on my Kindle. Will I pick it up? Not sure. And honestly, right now, like Golden Sun, I feel so bad for Cindy. She's reading ahead of me, and it does not bother me at all. I literally have not been in the mood to pick it up. Like, I really could give a fuck less. And it's not that I don't want to read it, but maybe I just don't want to read it. I enjoy sci-fi, and that it's not bad, but I really have no desire to pick it up. And I don't know if it's just me and my brain functioning right now or what, because it wasn't that I wasn't necessarily enjoying the book. I just didn't feel like reading it, and I just don't feel like reading it. So I told her to go ahead because she says it's getting really good, but I still have no desire to pick it up. So I was like, go ahead, just let me know how you're enjoying it. And I feel really bad because I buddy read with Cindy all the time, and I usually don't quit on her or kind of give up on her like that. And so I feel really bad, but I want to be able to read. I'm kind of in this mood where I just want to read what is appealing to me right now and what's going to keep me reading to where I don't slump completely. And I don't want to be forcing myself to do anything because then there's no fun in it, right? But yeah, I will get back to you if I read something. Tomorrow, I work until 11:30, which pisses me off because the first Seahawks game is tomorrow. And I want to fucking be able to watch it. I'm going to miss the first half of the game. And it really fucking pisses me off. So hopefully, I'll get at least watch the second half. But, you know, or just hide in the office and pretend like nobody can see me and watch the game on my phone. I could also do that. But I could also get fired for that. So I probably won't. But yeah, that's it. I'm going now. I'll let you know if I figure anything out or if I read anything more.
It's there. And then he...
Oh, Thunder.
Told you. He's like, I will kill you.
I don't know why you do that to yourself.
Because it's fun.
Every time. Oh, this is so cute.
It's fun.
Yeah, except for when you try to walk.
It'll work. It'll work. I can touch him.
Oh my god.
I'm an old woman now.
You're what?
Old woman.
With a cat on your back. Like how he's just chill. He's just hanging out. It's fine. Everything's fine. Why are you getting on the floor?
He's still attached to me.
He is.
He's still attached to me.
Because he's looking around like you're nuts, though. Hey, happy Tuesday. I need to wrap up this vlog. I didn't vlog the last 2 days, and I need to wrap this up so I can import it, edit it, and upload it because it needs to go up today. So here I am looking a hot mess per usual. I mean, is anybody surprised? Not at all. Yeah, I haven't read anything the last 2 days at all. I did start Dark Fever by Karen Marie Moaning. I think, yeah, Karen Marie Moaning. This is another one that Becca wants to read, and I've had it on my Kindle for 3 years, something like that. So I'm cheating with the Bookoplathon, and I'm swapping out books that I already have down for prompts. And I'm doing this because I'm starting to feel myself slump. I've only finished 2 books, Restless Slumber and Pestilence, and I need to pick up my reading. Today, I'm going to do what I did last week, and after I get this all edited and done and stuff like that, I'm going to put on some ASMR and just read and see how that goes. That seemed to help a lot. When I did that last week, I read 200 pages in a day, so I'm going to try to do that. I have a graveyard shift tonight, so it's early bedtime, work all night, sleep tomorrow, and then I'm off till Saturday, so hopefully I can play catch up, because I'm feeling like a big old sack of shit right now. And I know it's not necessarily my fault, and there's not a race, like nobody cares how much you read. But you know, when you post online and you talk about books and you only read like 4 books a month, where you see other people read like 40, it's just kind of like, especially with me, where, you know, I work really early in the morning, and so I do have a good chunk of my day to be able to read. Now school has started, and my son Lucas is at school. He'll be home in an hour. He is going the 2 days a week for 3 hours a day. So this is his first day in person at school there's only 4 other kids in his class right now. So it's very, very small, very contained. Took his mask. And then I went online today and I bought him some SpongeBob masks, because I think that would be cool for him. Make it a little bit easier maybe for him to wear one. So he'll be home at around like 11:15. It's 10 a.m. now. So I want to try to get my video done and going and like edited at least, so that it can go up, so I don't have to worry about it once he gets home. And yesterday was his first day like with online stuff. He had 1 hour and a half Zoom meeting, and that was it. They didn't do anything else the rest of the day, because these kids don't work online and they don't do well online. So, and then his teacher said she wants to do a one-on-one Zoom meeting with each kid every single week. That's going to last like 45 minutes. So again, he'll be lucky to get 8 to maybe 10 hours of schooling a week when he's required to get 30. But I'm not going to keep going off about that. Hopefully they'll fix it soon, because it's starting to upset me. And my husband's been really frustrated too. It was hard yesterday because, like Matt said, he just sits there and he gets really distracted and he doesn't want to do anything because he's not in person in school. And it doesn't matter. We have everything turned off. All the distractions are gone. He still is just like, what is even happening? So Danielle's doing great. She's getting ready to get into her second class of the day. She has 6 periods in a normal school day when she's at school, so they've split them up. So yesterday she did periods 1, 3, and 5. Today's 2, 4, and 6. So she already did science. She's got PE next, which I don't know what they're going to do for that. And then she'll do math, and then she's done for the day. But yeah, like we're into school mode. So I'm doing work stuff, then being mom school mode. So, but I'm going to read today, so that I don't want this to be a really long wrap up. So for the week, I finished Restless Slumber, and I did Pestilence. I read that and already talked about that. So I'm started Dark Fever, but I'm not very far into it. I think I read like the prologue. I was talking to Cindy about it, and she said she read it and that it's not bad, but nothing really happens. Somebody else commented on my Goodreads when I said that I was reading it, and she said that the second one was pretty much just straight porn. So it wasn't the first one, but the second one. So now my interest is a little piqued. Like, what do you mean it's straight porn? This is supposed to be like supernatural fantasy romance. Like, I get there's romance in it, but I did, from reading like the synopsis, that there's a fairy in this who his sole purpose in life is to have sex with as many humans as possible, and he makes them addicted to fairy sex. So, okay, I'm back. Kid interruption, my daughter. I don't even remember what I was saying now. Oh, Dark Fever, yes. So Becca might like it, because if it's like straight, almost fairy porn, we'll see. And like I kind of it's silly. So I read Pestilence and told her what I thought of it, and she said she wants to read it now, because the way I rated it and the way I talked about it. So this one's kind of the same thing. Gonna read it, let her know what I think, and she'll decide whether or not she wants to read it. I know she's nervous about Dark Fever, because Dark Fever is like this, I think it's like a 9-book series, 8-book, it's a long series. And from reading some of the reviews, people said that maybe it's 12. I can't remember, because I was looking on Goodreads. They said the series goes downhill after a while, but they're just so invested, they're going to read them anyways. And that's kind of how I felt like about the Sookie Stackhouse series, that after a while it kind of went to shit, but I still read them because I was invested. So we'll see how everything goes. I don't know. That's what I'm going to read today. I'm going to read Dark Fever. We'll just see how the next couple of days go, because I'm struggling and I feel myself slumping, and I don't want to slump. So ebook seems to be the way to go so far. So I went through my ebooks, and I've got a lot on there. Like, I have a ton of ebooks that I could easily read. It's just the motivation to read. But anyways, I'm going to go. This is the end of the vlog. I'm going to edit, upload, all that shit. So I'm sorry that these have been really fucking boring and nothing's happening and I'm barely reading. But I did kind of give a review of Pestilence. At least she got a little something. But yeah, I'm sorry. But I'm going to keep doing it because it's motivating me somewhat. I've totally failed Cindy. I haven't picked up Golden Sun in over a week. And I don't know if I want to. I'm starting to think that that series just may not be for me because I don't feel any desire to pick it up. And that's not good because I own the entire series. But yeah, that's it, guys. I'm sorry this vlog was boring and dumb, and I'm sorry I babbled too much. Oh, another thing. A couple people have asked me about the smoke because I live in Washington State. I will insert pictures over my face. So the first picture you're going to see is from, since I live in an apartment, and when you walk out my front door, there's a balcony and stuff like that. So that's what it looks like on a normal sunny day. You can see the water over by in the bay. You can see what is called Cap Santa, which is like a lookout where you can go up and you can see the whole town. So that's what it looks like on a normal day. Clear blue skies, like all pretty. And the next picture is what it looked like on, what's today, Tuesday, Saturday, I think, is what, Saturday or Sunday is when it looked like that. Maybe Friday. Either way, it's been like this for well over a week. It still looks like this, only doesn't look as yellow anymore. It's more white and almost looks like a fog, but you can still smell the smoke, but that's what it looks like. So for context, you can see the difference. It's very unhealthy air quality. They're recommending that you don't go outside unless you have to. So like cancel all outdoor activities, don't do walks and hikes and all that shit because it's just not good to breathe the air. We're supposed to get rain Thursday and Friday, so I'm hoping when that storm actually blows in and we get that, it'll blow some of this smoke fucking out of here because it's just one more thing, 2020, just waiting for Godzilla to fucking come out of the water. But anyways, that's it. Still living in a smoke haze, starting to slump, trying to pull myself out of it. See you guys next week. Hope you guys your guys' reading is going way better than mine, but I will see you guys next week. Bye.